Hello there, guys. How are we all doing? We're going to be having a little bit of a chat midway through the season, just before the playoffs does commence, about what teams we think are going to take it, about the season overall. But Flam, why don't you kick things off? How are you thinking about this playoffs?
This playoff bracket, definitely not what we expected. I think we could all agree on that. We had some big name teams that didn't sort of make the final cut. A few teams that we'll speak about a little bit later, but a few interesting teams that have sort of snuck their way in. Of course, we did see that the sort of minimum was 3 losses throughout the season. Some teams got a little bit unfortunate with the round differential, but in the end of the day, what can you do? It's a little bit of a cutthroat league. Cutthroat league. There we go. I get that. I'm having a stroke. Charlie, take it away, bro.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, it's probably the most brutal seasons we've had in terms of what you need to actually get into playoffs. In previous seasons, we've seen teams with 3 wins make it in. And then sort of like last season, it's like if you got a good round difference and you're 4-4, you have a chance. Yeah, this time if you're 4-4, you're just out. You got no chance at all. Teams that have 5-3, a lot of them didn't even make it in. Teams like Y&D, 10 Stars, Lasercats. Yeah, they're probably going to feel a bit hard done by, but at the end of the day, yeah, like Fam said, it is a bit cutthroat. There's not much you can really do about it. You just got to play every game to your absolute best. And I mean, yeah, like Fam said, we've seen a few kind of surprises in both who've made it into playoffs, as well as a lot of teams that I know when we did this at the start of the season, we really thought we're going to make it in that pretty far away, if we're being honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think, though, we still have some faces that we are kind of accustomed to seeing. Obviously, we got the previous season's finalists both in. Obviously, Arcred and Spirit Academy. Arcred topped the regular season. Spirit Academy came third. Obviously, between them both was the Prodigies, but I feel like that was a team that we expected to do well, and they came second in the division. So I think it is going to be a nice final. I think we've got some really good teams. Is it going to be a repeat of the Arcred Spirit Academy? I don't know. I feel like Arcred, they're definitely going to be hungry to try and take the crown. Obviously bested 2-0 in that last season's final. So I think they're going to be coming with a bit of a vengeance. But I think there are still a lot of other teams to show in this top 16 that could potentially take both of them down. But is there any team that you're looking at, Flam, and you're thinking, yeah, they're looking dangerous?
I mean, I think there's 2 in my mind. There's 2 in my mind mainly. You look at the Prodigies, of course, led by literally a player that was shortlisted for IGL of the year in terms of Keen, alongside, some of the greats at the moment that we're seeing, like Carrigan. To even be mentioned in the same breath, I think, is probably one of the tops. I know that definitely you boys can agree that Carrigan has sort of done his thing for so many years now. Keen, mentioned in the same breath, of course, the work that he did at Mad Lions at the moment, definitely going to be looking to try and put forth a good showing with the Prodigies at the moment, especially led by Independent, who's been their coach for ages at the moment now. That's looking like a really stable roster, and if they continue sort of that, progression that we've seen from them throughout the entire season, it wouldn't be surprising that we see them challenge. In Spirit Academy, we saw them win it last season. They've probably got one of the best AWPers at the moment in the SCL. That, in terms of being Art Frost, he's an absolute young demon as a kid. Players like Baz, players like Donk, these blokes will go in, absolutely ball out. They're going to rock out, and they're going to do what they do. So those 2 teams, in my mind, are the only 2 that really do stand a chance.
Yeah, I think, I'm going to agree with Spirit Academy, definitely. I think they have to be in the conversation. Similar with the Prodigies, they've looked so good in the regular season. I think there's no reason why they can't take it into the best of 3 format. But I feel like Arcred have to be mentioned there as well. Obviously, those 3 teams that we're mentioning all finished 7-1. The only thing that separated them was round difference. And between some of them, it was very close. But I think, considering Arcred and Spirit Academy on the complete opposite side of the bracket, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the exact same final we had last season. Maybe with the Prodigies, like you said, taking the place of Spirit Academy. But I wouldn't be surprised if 3 of those teams were all in the top 4, making it all to semis, and then I think the final is going to be really interesting to see. But I think those 3 teams you have to look at to make a deep run. And if they don't make a deep run to at least the semis, I think they're all probably going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I think obviously you're expecting them to succeed. Obviously, best of 1s, best of 3 format, they are slightly different, but these teams, they've shown strengths on all these different maps. So I think they've got the mental fortitude to get themselves through those long kind of drawn out best of threes. Something I do want to touch upon, something we saw in Season 7, and we're also going to be seeing here in Season 8, 10 CIS region teams here in the division, in the playoffs. So it's clear to see that, the CIS region is dominating in the SCL, and I like to see it. The style of Counter-Strike that they tend to lean towards seemingly is working really well, and potentially we've got a little bit more of a kind of a CIS domination. I really like to see it. I feel like they play a really kind of quite fluid style of CS. Obviously, potentially in, I'd say maybe at the top levels of CS, it's a little bit more evenly distributed, but here in the SCL, it's looking very, very CIS dominated, and I like to see it.
Yeah, boys, before we advance too much into, I know we're going to talk about some teams that we thought should have done a lot better, but obviously we mentioned some of the teams that we think are going to probably just succeed in general and should be looking for a pretty deep run. Obviously, there's still a lot of teams that we haven't mentioned that have made it to playoffs. Are there teams that you're going to be looking at and thinking, okay, maybe they only finished 5-3, maybe they finished 6-2, that you're looking at and thinking they do have a real crack at it? Because I don't know if I'd say it's a bit of a surprise, because I think they've definitely warranted the success that they've earned. I think Hotu have to be a team we have to look at as well. They've been in, this is their 4th season in the SCL now. Their 1st season, they came in, they took a victory there. 2nd season, made it to the finals. 3rd season, obviously last season, it was a bit disappointing. It was a bit of a surprise that they went out so early in I think it's quarterfinals that they went out.
Lost to the winners, though.
Yeah, so I think you look at it like that, and last season felt like a bit of a fluke. It felt like it was a bit of a one-off. They surely are going to be looking to try to right the wrongs that they made there once again. Even though they only finished 5-3 in the regular season, the losses that they had, they were really close. 2 of them being OT games that went the distance. So I think, and another one being to Arcred as well. So I think, yeah, you do have to look at it and think Hotu is still going to have a really good chance of taking this one as well.
Yeah, I think as well, another bit of a kind of maybe not so much of a favourite pick. It's a team that I've kind of spoken about quite a lot of the time. Weren't so successful in last season's playoffs. They did go out to Viperio early on. It was Flow State. And I think, when in the games that we've seen from them, it seems as though they do show a lot of signs of success, potentially just not really feeling it on the day, but they've got another chance here in playoffs, and I'm excited to see what they have to offer, because every time I've watched them, it seems as though they've really shown, brilliant style of CS, and I think they do have the chance to take it. Yes, they've got a fairly tough opponent, but I feel like that's going to be a situation all these teams are in. You're not going to be facing against anyone easy. It's not the regular season anymore. You are against the top 16, so everyone here really is looking to take the crown, and I think anyone really could.
Yeah, and I may as well throw a little bit of a cheeky team in that ring at the moment. SD and Victor. Now, hear me out, boys. Hear me out. They've had so much drama around the roster, and the fact that they've been able to, stabilize a little bit, be able to get themselves into playoffs. We saw OEZ have himself a little bit of an extended period. The Orpa, falling away for a little bit. Tuizera continuing to be that IGL. We saw Malaga come into the lineup, having a whole heap of drama and the controversy that I think Malaga brings anywhere he goes at the moment. They're definitely going to be a team that, they're going to look to try and get themselves in towards a little bit of a deeper run. I think it'd be more important if they do get a deeper run. The fact that they haven't been into the playoffs the last 3 seasons here, they were, twice part of that cutthroat 4-4, losing on round differential, finally being able to sneak their way in, going 5-3. They started off the season, 3-1 at one point. I think they were 3-0 technically. They've been able to sneak their way in, bear in mind with a few forfeit wins, but of course they happen pretty much all the time here in the SCL, so it's completely not surprising or an
it's not their
redeeming factor towards. It's definitely not their fault. It's not an unredeeming factor. It's not like they're the ugly guy at the prom that the girl just sort of has to take. But in the end, they're there. They're there. They're there at the big dance. I'm not venting it. I'm definitely not coping at all. But no, ST Victor, they've got themselves to the big dance. Now's the time. They've got to actually show off their moves, show off the stuff that they're made of, and of course, a really good opportunity there for the Lithuanians to, sort of prove their best in the SCL here.
Well, I think as well they've been in the playoffs before. Obviously, season 1, season 2, and season 4. They've already been in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a while ago. Probably a year ago now. But they've been in the playoffs before. They know the pressure. They've got that kind of. They understand what they're going to be facing off against. And it's not as though they were doing it in the lower leagues. They've kind of been in the. Well, I believe they've been in the playoffs in every single top division now. So. At the time, yeah. So, you've got to expect they're going to be looking good. I feel like, why not give SD and Victor kind of the call up? Because, they really could be the ones to take it.
Yeah, I think
100%.
now I think we should move on to the
Your
bit more
favorite
the
bit.
awkward. I mean,
Your
I
favorite
do
bit.
kind of like this part because I know obviously we did a similar thing where we spoke about this maybe a month or so ago about a lot of the teams that we're thinking are gonna have a deep run, potentially look to win it all, that really haven't panned out for a lot of these teams. Boy, just talk to me about the upsets. Who did we think were gonna do really well and absolutely fumble the bag?
I think the only team that I think, in my eyes, the only team that I thought, yep, guaranteed playoffs, forget about them, and then we'll see them in the finals, was Case. And obviously they went 4-4. They were 4-0. It seemed as though, you know, we were all right. Everyone kind of realized, yeah, Case, you can go win this season. We'll, you know, kind of think about the next one. But they lost their last 4 games in a row, 2 of them being in OT, a little bit difficult for them to kind of bring themselves back into it. And it's devastating to see because I would have loved to see them in playoffs. And I feel like they definitely did deserve a place there. Obviously, there's a couple more teams like them, but I feel like they definitely were the top team to look at. They were the ones to watch, and it really just didn't pan out well for them.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. I think that's the issue with. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at with that Case roster. They did look really good in their first 4 games. It's potentially a bit too much overconfidence, maybe a bit of complacency after finishing 4-0. Maybe they thought, yeah, okay, we can just sort of go through the motions till the end of the season, and regardless of where we finish, we should still guarantee a spot in playoffs. But I don't really think anyone was expecting them to lose all their final 4 games, which was a bit of an upset to say the least. And yeah, I think that was a team that a lot of people were excited to see in playoffs. Going to be disappointing that we won't, but hopefully they will stick around for next season and realize, yeah, okay, the level of competition clearly is a lot more than we realized. And considering we started 4-0, we should have been in playoffs. It's sort of the reverse of what we saw from ST and Victor, 1-3, to end up making it into playoffs. And a team like Case, who finished so well, who started so well, finished so poorly.
I think as well, if you look at the map picks, if you look at the kind of the vetoes, obviously their first 4 maps, Anubis, Mirage, Overpass, Inferno, and you know their final 2 games, Ancient and Nuke. I feel like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna be strong on all of the maps. You're really gonna have one insta-ban, but I think at the same time, you know, in these best of ones, why didn't you play to the maps that you've shown success on already? Obviously, it's not going to be easy fixtures, but I think at the same time, potentially a little bit of an overcomplication there. And I'll be honest with you guys, you look at their first 4 fixtures. Yes, they were, you know, victorious, but I feel like even if they went 5-3, they might not have even gone through because the round difference wasn't looking too good for them. On their victories, they were, you know, 3 16-12s, a 16-13. They are still close games. Potentially, it wasn't just when they were 4-0. Maybe just the season in general, they thought they might have a little bit more of an easier time.
Yeah. Case fumbled the bag.
Case
really did fumble the bag. I mean that sums it up. They fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag. They do what they do. They fumbled the bag.
Did they even have the bag?
Well, when you think about it, everyone's got a bag in life, right? I'm gonna get philosophical here. Everyone's got a bag in life, right? It's something that you hold near and dear to you, right? Whether it be that one girl that took you, the ugly guy, to the dance, right? Whether it be that your bag, and then you fumble it by accidentally doing something wrong.
No, fam, that's just you. I think, and we'll go back to CS. I think there's another couple teams. Flam's in his bag land; he can just live there. But I think there's another couple teams that I think maybe underperformed a little bit. I think 10 Star joining, you know, massive org, a lot of names behind them. I feel like maybe a team that we thought were gonna get through. I feel like maybe VP Prodigy. They're a team that, yes, they're a young roster, but they've shown a lot of success previous seasons. I think maybe you throw Zero Tenacity, you throw Royals in there. I feel like there were a lot of teams that we kind of thought, yeah, they'll probably get playoffs. Is it going to be easy for them to take the crown? No, but they've done it in the past. You know, why can't they do it here? Yeah, a couple teams that really, really potentially underperformed. Maybe even Viperio. They got into, obviously, they got into playoffs last season, got themselves to the quarterfinals, and, you know, we're not even seeing them here. They came 34th. And potentially it's just become a little bit more difficult here in the SCL.
Yeah, I want to touch on Zero Tenacity a little bit. They're a team that obviously, especially towards the first sort of 4 seasons of the SCLs where they had most of their success, obviously being able to win one of the seasons as well, But it feels like in sort of these last couple of seasons they've been a little more consistent. But last year was, or last season, not last year. In fact, it was last year actually, so I'm right there. Was actually the first season they didn't make it into playoffs out of every season. They've been in every single season that we've had, and I felt like we looked at that and thought, oh, that's a bit unfortunate. It's probably a bit of a one-off. Hopefully, they're going to come back stronger next season. But obviously, this is back-to-back seasons now. From always being in playoffs now to 2 seasons in a row, not being able to really have a sniff at it. It's going to be a bit unfortunate for them, but it's going to hopefully be something that motivates them a bit more. I feel like there's going to be a lot of teams that we're going to be looking at that are going to be disappointed by how this season's gone, and they've got to look at it as motivation, more reason to push them forward. Because if they don't, then I think there's not going to be much over them.
Yeah, and I think season 6 they looked all right as well. I believe they got I want to say semi-finals. I'm pretty sure. So, I feel like not too bad, but maybe it just didn't work out for them last season. Potentially not this season. But yeah, I agree with you, Charlie. I hope it does spur them on, because I feel like ZT, they're a team that I feel like us three, and I feel like anyone watching the SCL frequently, they're a team that's been here forever. They're the kind of the core team of the SCL. I feel. There's not many other teams that can comfortably say, yeah, we've played in every single season. We've been in the top division every single season. I feel like they're one of the only teams that can. So for them to not get playoffs, it's a bit sad to see, but I think as well, yeah, hopefully it does spur them on.
It really should. Gentlemen, before we do wrap this up, of course, we want to have our predictions for the finals. Who do we think is going to come out with the crown?
I'll let Charlie take the...
I'll let you take this.
Okay. If I had to pick a team to take it, can I say finals? Can I say the top 2 and then?
All right, let's go your dream finals matchup. You got to look at the bracket though, so we got to make it like actually.
Oh, I know the bracket off my dome, mate. I know the bracket.
You know the bracket off by heart. Okay,
Yeah,
so looking at the bracket, who is the dream final matchup?
Can I say the semi-finals and then the finals? So I'll go top 4, top 2.
Fuck, just give us the bracket, mate. Just give us the fucking bracket.
I'm thinking it's gonna be Arcred Hotu, one semi-final. Spirit Prodigies, other semi-final. And then finals, I'm saying Prodigies Arcred. I think Prodigies might take Spirit. Hot take there.
It's not a bad shout.
I think
Not a bad shout.
depending on what Flam says, we could be all on pretty similar lines. My dream final probably would be Spirit Arcred again. I think have the exact same final, have a bit of a rematch. I think the storyline that you could have there would be so great. If Arcred are able to take that one, I mean, it's righting the wrongs of last season. They're finally able to best sort of that rival that they're creating in the SCL. But I also think you can look at it the other way. If Spirit win it again, it's just another one-up. It'll be like that Team Liquid Astralis thing that we had, where I felt like they were always meeting each other in the finals, but Team Liquid could never beat Astralis. I think it could be one of those situations. So I'd love to see that. I think the storylines could be so great for that. I think I'd probably have to slightly edge towards Spirit Academy. At the end of the day, yes, Arcred finished top of the table. It was only on round difference though. Both teams still 7-1, and I feel like you're not going to go into playoffs and think, oh yeah, but we're better than you because we have more round difference. And no one's ever going to really care about that. This is playoffs now. You're here. We just want to see the best that you can provide in these games. I think I'd give the slight edge to Spirit Academy, but I think that'll be a great final to watch.
It would be a good final to watch. However, I'm going to challenge your bracket, Zola. Right?
You're going to challenge mine? You're going to challenge my top 4? Okay.
I reckon Acred gets a final.
Okay.
However, I reckon Hot you get knocked out by Leo.
You think Hot? It's not a bad shout.
I reckon they get knocked
Leo
out
are
by
looking good.
However,
Leo are looking good.
In the lower bracket, though, I reckon you're completely right. It's going to be Spirit Academy taking on the Prodigies in the semis. However, I reckon the Prodigies beat them.
Yeah.
I reckon Jerome
Prodigies
and
Arcred
Independent have something in store for us that we are not expecting. And they will be able to come out here in the finals, and they will come to the finals matchup. Keen will look at Acred, and he will say to them, "Look, I know you have this amazing history, but I don't care. I'm Keen. I'm gonna outbrain you at every single turn."
They're just gonna get rid of the orb. They're gonna get rid of Art Frost.
They're just going to get rid of Acred. That's what the Prodigies are gonna do. And Jerome is going to have a field day on Twitter about it. I'm going to call it right here, right now.
Okay.
I'm calling it.
So you
right
said
here,
Arcred,
Prodigies final, Prodigies win, and then Prodigies win as well.
Prodigies win.
So
2-1.
the exact same final that Fred just said.
No, but he
No,
challenged.
he
he
said
challenged Hot.
Spirit.
No,
You
no.
said Spirit.
I
He
said
said
Prodigy.
challenge Hot.
I said
You
Prodigy.
said Prodigies? Oh,
Yeah,
I challenged Hot You though.
Yeah,
I challenged
yeah,
Hot 2. My apologies. I challenged Hot 2. That's the only challenge that I had.
It's not a bad one though. I think Leo Gaming are looking good. I think is it a bit of a cop out for all three of us to go? Yeah, we think Arcred, Spirit, and obviously the Prodigy is going to get semi-finals. Maybe.
Who's in the upper bracket? Who's in the upper bracket?
So it's Arcred, Conquer, Ultimate Power.
It's Arcred. It's Arcred.
Yeah.
It's Hotu and it's Leo.
ST
And
Victor.
ST Victor.
Where have they
That's
gone?
it.
I thought
That
they
is
were. I
it.
thought
That's
they were.
it.
I thought they were your team.
That's it. That's it. There's
Oh,
no one in the
wow.
upper bracket.
Wow.
There's literally no one in the
Yeah.
upper bracket.
When this comes
It's
out, I'm hoping the
nobody's-
other
it's-
team
You know what?
is hoping
When
the
when
other
Ulti-
Listen,
team
it is
so wrong,
nobody's
yeah.
with 3 teams. It is nobody's with 3 teams in the
Wow.
upper bracket. That's
Wow.
all it is.
When
So-
SCL
That's all it
posts
is.
about this game's being streamed, you see flamboyants in the cast, just ignore that one.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
me.
Just
Find me
don't
on
ignore
Twitter.
those boys.
I want you to stick up for yourselves.
All,
here.
all I'm saying is Conquer, Ultimate Power, Envision, Turo Zgorzelek, pronounced that poorly, but prove this guy wrong because he's saying
Prove me wrong.
He's saying you're all nobodies.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
It's disappointing.
There's literally no one who can challenge Akron at
I
the
want to
moment.
quickly
in
point
that
this out.
upper
I want to
bracket.
point this out. Last season, when we did this, we did a similar thing. We
And-
predicted
and-
the final.
And you look like a mug.
Nobody got it right. Spirit Academy came out of nowhere and proved everybody wrong. So I'm waiting
is
for this
true.
to happen again. Well, yeah,
I'm waiting for.
I'm
mate,
pretty sure
Brazilaki
Arcred.
to take on Invisi.
I'm pretty sure Arcred were a bit of a dark horse in that as well.
I don't think we were anywhere
They were.
close to the prediction.
Yeah, I think we were
all
like
predictions
beyond
got knocked
possible.
out in quarters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do
We're
think
all
Prove me
stupid.
wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's my challenge to the SCL 16.
I'm just gonna save your guys' ears from the flam prove me wrong, but hopefully you do guys get on the Twitter and prove him wrong because I always love to see people shutting him down. But yeah,
Please,
that's
it's
our
funny.
that's our little hot take before the obviously the playoffs commence, and potentially we'll get to see if we were right, whether we were wrong. But if you guys are enjoying this style of content, make sure you guys comment in the tweet or also on the page. So you guys, we can make some more stuff like this for you. But yeah, that's been it from us, and we'll see you guys in playoffs.